Are the Red Sox getting a bounce post, Devers?
A little bit.
Are they doing the thing that I said they could do? I'm asking. I'm not coming out here with I'm going to sit here and tell you they're doing this.
You're not making a declaration?
I'm asking.
It's very brave.
I'm asking. Let's discuss.
Okay.
Because I don't know if they are. I'd love to sit here and say, see, they don't need Rafael Devers to win. They can be just as good with him as they are without him. They can be just as good without him as they are with him. And I've seen it a million times. A team loses their best player and they continue winning, or they win at a higher level, and it's just, sports. And, beyond sports, maybe that best player's absence opens up things for other guys. Maybe that best player was an a-hole, and his a-holery was getting in the way of winning. All that stuff, I believe in that stuff. I want to believe in that stuff. I like those stories. Is that what the Red Sox are doing currently?
No.
Why not?
So here's what. Okay.
I mean, they took 2 of 3 in Seattle.
Yep.
They've won 5 of 6.
Yep.
8 of 10.
9 of 11.
If the playoffs began today, they're in.
Yep.
So why am I not? How come that's not me being right about,
Because Rafael Devers has only been gone for 3 of them.
They won 2 of them. Yeah, go ahead.
They started playing better when he was still here. So, that's the part, that doesn't add up. And for your theory, is that you say, okay, did they get this bump? Here's what I would tell you. They didn't crash. And I think that counts for something. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that they got to see it, the trade happened, he got pulled out, didn't even get on the plane with them, or got on the plane and got pulled off, thrown in a cab. He's gone, he's out. They go to Seattle. They show up the next day. Okay, here it is. Are they going to revert? Is the bottom going to fall out? What the hell's going to happen? And they took 2 out of 3 from the Mariners. Now, in the same breath, so what I would tell you, I think that's good. I think that that's a good sign that they continued to play with, some level, or particularly pitch with some level of functionality, at least other than Walker Buehler, who completely sucked in that game. But I could also look at some of the particulars and tell you that there is one obvious, alarming statistic from that Seattle series that you should keep an eye on.
Okay.
In the whole series, they had 4 at-bats with runners in scoring position. 4. So they barely hit they barely got anyone on base in the series. So now, is that purely a ripple effect of not having Devers? It's a part of it. I mean, when you lose a guy like that in your lineup, there's a trickle-down effect to the rest of the guys, that all of a sudden there isn't that singular talent in the middle of the lineup that the other team looks at and goes, we got to avoid this guy at all costs. Okay, and I think that Devers, for all intents and purposes, was that guy for the Red Sox. Even if people don't, if you think he's overrated, he's still a guy that other pitchers in the league, or that pitchers in the league look at and say, if you miss close to the plate with this guy, he can hurt you. And so now the young guys, I don't think they're at the place yet where there is this intimidation factor, this fear factor when they step in the box. Now, Seattle's pitching is really good. Okay, I'm throwing a lot at you. But they didn't hit in this series. The Mariners outscored them and lost 2 out of 3. The Red Sox had 5 runs in the whole series.
They've scored. So, listen. The facilitation is, and what I want to be right, is that Devers is gone and guys are filling in, and it's allowing other guys to flourish and play and hit, and they're not missing them. But I don't see it.
No, it's just not true. I mean, if you look
it's just not true. Go ahead.
If you look at the bigger sample size, like they've been on a hot streak, the 2 Yankee series, the Rays series, what they just didn't see it. Well, extrapolate Seattle. All the good, Devers was here. The pitching's been better. That's all it is to me.
Well, so put another way, what else have they done other than pitch?
They've cleaned up their defense a bit.
Okay,
they're not effing up as much.
Yeah,
they didn't. I looked up the errors. They did not commit an error in Seattle.
They should have.
They had 3 against the Yankees, 1 in each of the games, but they did not commit an error in Seattle. Have they gone 3 straight games this year without committing an error? I don't know. I'm asking. It would stand to reason.
Tell me how that Durant thing yesterday's not an error.
Well, stand by.
Okay, go ahead.
They still lead the league in errors, but they're coming back to the Colorado is only one behind you for you to fall out of the league lead in errors, and you did not commit one technically in Seattle. So that's one statistical measure I could look at and say, okay, that's different. They're catching it better. Are they actually catching it better, Mazz?
I mean, I would say a little bit better, yes. A little bit. So, for example, that play with Duran yesterday in which the Mariners scored their only run of the game was a fly ball to left field that he was battling.
I thought it was a wild pitch.
No, the run
The
scored
wild
on a wild
pitch
pitch, but
on
the error set it up.
Got it. Well, it wasn't an error, Tonto.
Well, okay, right. But it should have been. So now, again, he was fighting the sun, but I would argue still catch the effing ball. Okay, catch the effing ball. This is part of the deal. You're in the big leagues. You're going to fight the sun. It's going to be challenging at times. And again, and I don't judge the outfielders all entirely on errors or defensive runs saved. I judge them on how do they look. Okay, and Duran to me never completely looks steady.
The ball was in his glove. It bounced out. That's
Yes,
an error.
It should have been an error. I'm with Murray. Should have been an error.
Okay, technically was not an error.
Correct.
And by the way, this sun thing is such nonsense. The center fielder, I think it was Campbell, caught a ball like a minute later, and he had his sunglasses over his hat. So the sun thing, it's nonsense, and it's an excuse for a team member carrying water.
Okay.
So they're pitching better, and how about call it less
feel
stupid?
better now.
They've been a little less. They've been a little less stupid.
No, Murray's right. Some of this, there hasn't been as much stupidity.
Well, so
They played with average intelligence.
let me ask you, that's an upgrade.
The real AI.
That's an upgrade. Are they striking out as much? What are their strikeouts? And so in their last 6 games, they've only scored 13 runs,
Correct.
but they're 5-1.
Correct.
Okay, so that includes obviously some Devers time. 3 games without Devers. Are they still striking out 10 a game in these last 6?
They have 54 strikeouts in the last 6 games, 9 per game.
Okay, that's still a lot.
It's a little better, but
We're not talking 13, 14
Again,
double digits.
that feels like a little bit better than it's been.
a tick.
Little less stupid.
So they're not getting hits, but they're getting their bat to the ball a little bit better.
Right, and I will tell you again, there was the game on Saturday against New York, and we're going back a few days now. That was a 3-0 game when they got a man on second base with nobody out in the 6th inning, 7th inning. It was somewhere in there. I'd have to look. And Rafaela came up, bunted a guy over to third base. Cora called for a bunt in that situation.
Yeah.
So Cora played for 1 run in that spot. They bunted him to third. Meyer came up and hit a sac fly. The guy scored from third, and they went up 4-zip. They won the game 4-3. Okay, so they got a little shaky there in the 7th and the 8th.
But that's baseball there.
No, it is. I'm giving them credit for it.
Okay.
So that 1-run decision, instead of sitting there and, play for the crooked number. And the analysts will tell you play for the multiple runs, not the single. Cora didn't do that there, and they won the game by a run.
Here's what I want to do. Short sample, yeah, but it's a daily talk show. We have a show to do today. Are they better off without Ravi Devers?
No.
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
They're won 5 of 6. They're in the playoffs, 8 of 10. They're catching the ball better on paper.
But again,
All of a sudden, they're pitching.
why are you talking as if the majority of that didn't happen when Devers was here?
Half of it did.
No. Not half. They
6,
played 11 games.
70% of
In
it.
the last 11 games, they're 9-2. 8 of them happened with Devers here.
Okay.
8 of the 11 were with Devers here.
I'm just saying. Let's see. I mean, this is where we are.
Well, you're really trying.
Well, this is what we do. You trade a guy, are they better or worse off?
Okay, no, but you're really trying to cement this take.
Nope. I'm open-ended. Unlike you people, I come at things with an open mind.
Okay.
I just want to know where it's showing up, and I don't know where it's showing up other than the pitching. I look at the young guys. Christian Campbell is hitting .223 on the season. He's 1 for his last 10 with no extra base hits, so that's not coming from there. Roman Anthony is hitting .074 on the season with only 1 homer and a .416 OPS, so it's not really coming from there.
Nope.
Marcelo Meyer hitting .277, 4 home runs,
Meyer's been good.
751 OPS.
And good defense. 751's okay for a guy who just got here.
All right.
Yeah, Meyer's. I have now come around that Meyer is my favorite one of the group.
How about your guy Trevor Story? I think he hit a fastball out yesterday, man.
95 miles an hour.
Huh?
Yeah.
Bleh, bleh,
No,
bleh, bleh.
it was a bleh. Yeah, it was. Again, because I didn't think he had the capacity to get the barrel of the bat on a 95-mile-an-hour pitch anymore. And it was a big hit in the game. It won the game for him. So I'll give him a tip of the cap on that. How many has he got now for home runs? Like 9? Is it 9 or 10?
I don't have that in
I
front
think
of
it's
me.
11.
Okay, so it's 11. One of them has come on a fastball.
Actually, his last 3 have.
Nah, they haven't. Well,
I'm just going by what Milliken told me.
Let me rephrase. A couple of those were 92-mile-an-hour fastballs. This was 95.
It's a bad gun.
So do I think?
Listen, you're just all you people are going to have to acquiesce to the scoreboard at some point if that's what the scoreboard shows. It's early, but they're 2-1, and they haven't fallen apart. They're not hitting, they're not scoring, but they're winning. And I'm going to, because I'm fair, right now that's just because sports. Like, of course, you lose your best bat, and all of a sudden your pitchers wake up, and that's just kind of, I admit, to this point, that's kind of random. I don't think it's sustainable. You can't score 13 runs over 6 games and go 5-1. Like, it's not going to happen.
I don't think so either.
That's not what anyone can do.
Not with their pitching staff.
Never mind this team. Well, let me ask something about the pitching staff. Are they throwing more fastballs? Are they pitching differently?
Yes. So what I would say is it's not exclusively fastballs. It's what I would say is choosing velocity, pitches with velocity versus pitches with not. Let me give you an example. Brian Bale, for example, throws a slider most of the time. The last game that he pitched, which was one of his best Red Sox
against the Yankees, that was
correct,
a good game.
He threw more cut fastballs and fewer sliders. So something with a little less break, a little more velocity, and coupled with his fastball, it can work. It can work together. His sinker is excellent. His two-seam fastball is excellent. Always has been.
Does someone want to do this when you analytically bent people who can do this with some of your filters and a few keystrokes? When did the velocity start picking up? Can you give me a day? Like, draw the line somewhere. Since June 5th. I'm making this up, obviously, but they're 8-2 in their last 10. You said 9 of their last 11. When did they start pitching better? Find me when that is, and tell me, are they throwing harder than they did previously? And can we go back and sort of piece that together and maybe even read between the lines with a Cora comment or something that can build a story that says they actually took a look at how they were pitching, realized it was the wrong approach, altered it, and it's working? Or is this all this random? Question.
No, it's a good question. I would tell you that, though, like one guy that sticks out is Giolito. Like, I think you can see it most pronounced with Giolito.
Could it just be he's finally healthy, though?
No.
So the thorn in the pitching different thing, though.
No, because he's throwing more fastballs.
Okay, but the thorn in the pitching different thing is Walker Buehler, who still stinks.
Correct.
And can't get out of the first couple of innings.
Right. Well, but the game before he was good.
But otherwise,
Right. In this game,
their last 2 turns through the rotation, they've had, I think, one bad start.
Yeah, Buehler.
Just call it that.
Who all of a sudden got away from what he did in the previous start and changed the approach.
I'm just asking. We would do this on any team after any big trade. Are they better off? What are they doing?